Your captain, Francisco, had to go somewhere.
Where'd he go?
That doesn't matter.
Did he die?
No, Bobo, he went to see someone.
Did they die?
No, Bobo.
Everyone dies, you know.
Yes, but not from a tumor on this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor fluxing through to stations. Scanning for kindergarten cop 1990. Prepare to rewind in the chopper. 3, 2, 1.
Good morning.
What was that? Wait, someone has a soundboard. Who has a soundboard? I know one of you do. One of you yahoos. Anyway, welcome rewinders and new listeners to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Master Interrupter Powers.
Hi, how are you? I'm very happy to be here. First, I would like to just get to know you. I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Okay, hopefully
How many of you were born in Astoria?
Not any of us, I don't think, Paul. Also, for this discussion of the film Kindergarten Cop, we welcome aboard for the first time audio engineer and producer at Public House Media. Welcome, David Bobke, also known as Bobo.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to be here.
Hi.
Fellow Earthlings.
So glad you're here, Bobo.
It's going to be a long show, Francisco.
Yep, it is. It is indeed.
Oh, no.
And now that you have a somewhat quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Kindergarten Cop?
Sure. Let's see. The movie Kindergarten Cop, the first one, was released December 21st, 1990. It runs an hour and 51 minutes and is rated PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Well, for the violence at the end, I think.
Interesting.
And a little bit of swearing.
It'd probably be PG by today's standards. Anyway.
Maybe, yes.
It was directed by Ivan Reitman and was written by Murray Salem. We'll go with that. And the lead stars being Arnold Schwarzenegger, Penelope Ann Miller, and Pamela Reed. The music was composed by Randy Edelman. So,
Now we're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called
The
Who is
Box
My
Office
Daddy
Game.
and What
does he do? Actually, let's
What
play
is
the
your box office and how are you ranked?
Yes. Kindergarten Cop was made for $26 million and earned over $202 million worldwide at the box office.
Oh
Thank
my
you, Mario.
gosh.
Given this and the fact that it is among 39 movies to star Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Really? 39? Wow.
he's like cameoed in many.
Okay. Oh, so this is only starring ones?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
How high do you think it ranks among the other 39 Arnold movies?
Let's see. Keeping 90s.
And this is worldwide and not counting inflation.
Yeah. So, Dave, what's your guess first?
So my usual shtick is to go with 42.
But that's outside the 39s.
Yeah, last time I
Barely.
more than 39. So
Math foiled me again.
I will go with a nice round 25.
25. Okay, and then in chat we have Dale guesses 5, Ashley guesses 14. I'm gonna guess a little lower, 30. So Paul, what is the magic number?
The answer is 13.
Really?
So APK wins.
So Ashley wins. Good job, Ashley. Wow, way to nail it. All right, very cool.
Terminator 2 still holds number 1.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that was kind of a Art Nouveau film. Not a lot of people.
I think it was
watched
an indie flick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get to once Alice has located our target film.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
John Kimball is an undercover cop assigned to find a mother and son
This is the only picture we have of him.
before a killer does.
You gotta handle this like any other police situation.
He's been trained to fight. But there are some things
You mean you eat other people's lunches?
Stop it! He's never been trained to handle. Arnold Schwarzenegger
They're walking all over me.
is Kindergarten Cop, an Ivan Reitman film, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, December 21st at theaters everywhere.
Don LaFontaine, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
The late great.
That's the guy who did the voice, right? The
Yes,
in the
indeed.
world guy, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
good. Well, that commercial definitely brings back some memories about Kindergarten Cop. But to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered most before our rewatch, here's our memory mind meld synopsis for Kindergarten Cop. Arnold is a detective John Kimball who has to go undercover as a teacher to find a drug dealer trying to kill his ex-wife and takes their 5-year-old son. Arnold has to release his desire to terminate annoying kids and instead has to teach kindergartners who lack a discipline, constantly talking about genitalia. So Kimball trains them with no tumors as the cover to get the close to said ex-wife. Yeah, too many sure Junior and Mama safe. Conan the authoritarian goes commando and takes his last stand with the predator for his true lies.
Wow.
I can't tell if that was accurate or not.
You know what? I think we're just going to be safe and call this one accepted. But yeah, based on those memories, though, as flawed as they probably were, what rating did they lead you to predict for this movie before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Bob, Dave, what was your prediction?
Dave and Bobo both predicted nostalgic.
So two nostalgic.
Oh no, we're gonna have a draw here.
Paul, how about you?
I also predicted nostalgic. I haven't seen this since the 90s, so
I'm pretty much in the same boat. Maybe I saw it in the 2000s, possibly, but yeah, I also predicted nostalgic. So it'll be interesting to see if it ends up being a unanimous nostalgic or if it ends up being something else. But before we get to our final rating, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about Kindergarten Cop. Let's spin up our
Best three.
Now
right.
we're going to do something extremely fun.
Okay, let's start with our guest as we like. Dave, what is one thing you liked about Kindergarten Cop?
One thing that I liked, especially when studying the film very closely, as of course I did.
Of course, I would expect nothing less.
Yes, highly professional here. The little bit of fan service that we got, this being an Arnold movie and being primarily known for action films. About 10 minutes in, we get the scene where he's going in to find Cindy and convince her through completely legal police methods that she should do the lineup and testify in court. So
I'm the party pooper.
exactly. He's the potty pooper and he starts blowing stuff up. And that was pretty fantastic. So I liked that we got a little bit of that, a little taste of that early in the movie.
Yeah.
Just so we're kind of comfortable that this is indeed Arnold. And it's not technically tied to that, but the line toward the very end where he says, "I'm Bach."
Yes.
That was good.
I feel like there's that line and another line that were sort of plays on past roles of his. But awesome, Dave. Paul, what was something you liked? Was it the action, even though there was a limited amount, or something else?
it was very close. Actually, at the very beginning, where the 80s mall.
This to be an action movie, guys.
Yeah. But the 80s mall is so 80s.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a trip to go back in time.
No.
Just to see it like that.
Do you guys think they were trying to make... Well, no, I guess this came out before Terminator 2. I was going to say, when I was watching it, I feel like they're trying to make a play on the Glendale Galleria where Terminator 2, where there's that sequence in the mall. But then going through the technical or the years and stuff. No, this came out before that. So I guess it was just a strange coincidence that they both had mall scenes. But cool. Okay. Nice. Just sort of that blast from the past mall.
Yeah. A lot of people try to do like 80s movies and they have them like fit with like these, or, the exercise like clothes or these neon bright stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, all right. The mall did have like a lot of businessmen walking through it for some reason. I don't know, but you take out that and you have those people with the jeans and the clothes and everything. That was the 80s right there.
Yeah, totally. For me, one of the things I liked was the shot placement for a lot of the movie, especially, during the beginning, I love how they're trying to create this dynamic of Arnold is just so tall above like his partner, above the principal, especially above the kids, and just how he towers over them and how they're like, oh my gosh. I like how they established that. And I think I didn't notice it like very, I think it's very subtle, but I think that shifts to be less so as the movie progresses, probably showing that they're becoming more comfortable with one another and just more on the same, not the same, on the same plane, but just that they're less on opposite ends. They're more unified, especially when they get.
Don't worry, everything is under control.
That's great. Especially when you get after the whole turn this you're gonna turn your mush into muscles. That whole part, but so that was something I liked, and also it was just beautiful seeing Astoria, Oregon in another movie. Especially like Goonies, you see it, and now here again is just nice seeing that, and much less gray this time, a lot more sun, which is cool.
That's always nice.
Yes, indeed. Let's go back to Dave. What's something else you liked?
Another thing that I particularly liked, several of the lead actors in this, I particularly liked their performances.
Mm-hmm.
This last viewing, especially Pamela Reed, I hadn't really appreciated
Joyce, right?
She played Phoebe.
Oh,
right.
Wait, is that the love interest or the partner?
Her partner, O'Hara.
Yeah, she's the partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Penelope and Miller was Joyce. Sorry, they both
Joyce.
have P's in their first name, so I got confused.
Yep.
Me too.
Consonants are hard, man.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a long night, I told you.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Pamela Reed's performance, I didn't appreciate enough, I think, going into this last viewing. I thought she took a character that was average to pretty good in the script, and she took it up 3 notches.
Mm-hmm.
Some of her reads a lot where Sylvester's mom comes in with the pony and whatever else into the gym. And she says, who the heck is that? And she read it very plainly, but the way she read it, I really, really liked, and I usually get a chuckle out of that.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I also really particularly liked, I think it was Richard Tyson, who was Crisp.
Really? Okay.
I liked him a lot because I thought he had a good look. There's something about the eyes that I liked. Okay. And I liked how he shifted gears from cool, calm, and collected Crisp, I'm here to get a manicure. I have witnesses. And he's very cool in the lineup. He knows exactly when he can play it very chill and when he can be very cold-blooded when he shoots the guy early in the movie. And later on, when he's completely losing his cool, he goes all Monica on us and says, the boy is mine.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope somebody listening got that reference because I know one thing about the singer Monica, and that's it. So,
I thought you were referencing Friends, the character Monica.
Yeah, I don't know
Friends.
Monica.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be hip with the kids these days, and that's all I got.
Musicians with their complicated shoes. Okay.
That's Avril Lavigne.
Oh my gosh. No, that was Seinfeld. Anyway.
Oh.
It's interesting you bring up that you really liked Richard Tyson as Crisp. And because, I will say that...
Because you hated him.
Hold on. I felt like the casting in this is my other like, the casting in this movie was like super hit or miss for me. Like I feel like they nailed the casting with Arnold, even though he is totally like not who you would expect. I think some of the other, I read some of the other people they thought for this role. I think was Robin Williams one of them? No, I think Danny DeVito might have been up for it, but he was too short. But there are other like people you think of as comedic actors were up for this role. And I just thought having Arnold in it was just amazing. He is so great. I agree. I didn't really care for Pamela Reed as Phoebe O'Hara growing up, but watching her as a grown up, she was great. I totally enjoyed her. I was a little smitten with Penelope Ann Miller as Joyce, as I think you're supposed to be, because that's the love interest. And I thought even. Linda Hunt as Miss Slawski, the principal, she was great. I even thought Chris' mom was great. She looked so just frozen. I don't care about anything. I just care about my family. She looked like a mob boss. She was so I loved a lot of the casting in this film, and we'll leave it at that. Paul, what's one more thing you liked before we get to our classic makers?
I thought the physical stunts in this movie were jaw-dropping, some of them, because they look so real. In fact, some of them look like they would be illegal nowadays, but
which ones? I'm not really placing any stunts.
I wish I could remember. I didn't write it down, but there were things where it's like when she got hit by the car, or and the body went flying, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Or the kid up on the tower, maybe.
Maybe I don't, but I was very impressed with all the
physicality that is in this that you wouldn't really expect from a movie like this. Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome.
We weren't expecting the devastating blow of a wagon getting pulled into the back of Arnold's leg.
Yeah, I mean that could have crippled him for life. He took the hit. What a stuntman! What a stamp! Way to do your own stunts, Arnold. Anyway, cool guys. Well, let's then move into our classic makers, the things we loved most about Kindergarten Cop, and let's start with Paul this time.
The kids are just so precious in this. Just to watch them and Arnold's interaction. Oh yeah, I love it. Just to watch them. Yeah, I would rewatch them just for the kids.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm curious, was there a kid that stood out to you as oh man, I'm really drawn to this kid?
No, there are each one had its fun. There were maybe 4 main ones that I just loved to see just because they were so cute.
I thought the kid who played Zach, the sort of the kid that was getting beaten by his, the quiet one who got beat by his dad, he was great. I thought the little girl that was like, I'm not a policeman, I'm a princess. I'm all right. Exactly. I thought she was precious.
Yes, she was.
Absolutely.
I do recall a lot more of the kids annoying me watching this as a kid. But yeah, again, I think having kids of my own has definitely made me appreciate kids. And so anyway, that bothered me so much when they all turned on Zach when he's doing nothing. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you all be quiet right now. Anyway, but
things we like.
Yeah. Things we like. But Paul really appreciated the kids. That's really awesome. Dave, what was the thing you loved most about this film?
I just want to mention I appreciate my sponsor, PaulJPowers.com.
Yeah.
Sponsoring my classic maker. And I hate to, I almost hate to do this, but I agree with Paul. For kids. These were not 16-year-olds in 6-year-old bodies. These were basically kids. I mean, they have to be maybe controlled to a certain extent because it's a movie.
Yeah.
And they can't be insanely distracting. But from the when they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the one kid is quacking.
Yes.
Saying it way too loud. Republic. I think we all had that kid in our classes. The Did She Die kid. The kid whose dad is a gynecologist. Die every time I hear them say that's the best.
Our dad is a real machine.
the kid who yells, "Mr. Kimball, are you married?" And when he says no, he goes over to the door and he's not married, Mom.
That's
just tactless. And I wanted to mention too with the girl that Paul mentioned, Emma, who says, "I'm not a policeman, I'm a princess."
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is she like a miniature Joan Cusack?
Oh, I could totally see that.
There was something about the way she reads her lines.
I went to go look her up. I didn't really notice her in a lot of movies after this, or ones that I really recognize.
She disappeared from Hollywood.
Yeah. But yes, I totally see what you're saying, because she looks so familiar. Like she's someone I should have been seeing as I age with films in other films, because she does have a very familiar look. And I think because she looks like a Joan Cusack. I totally see that. Very astute, Dave. Very astute.
Thank you. Well, obviously, brilliant minds thinking alike here. So, it's your classic maker.
Well, I have the true classic maker, guys, which are the quotable lines. And I thought about this. I wonder if there's something about who Ivan Reitman teams up with for his movies that seem to generate movies that have quotable lines. You got this, Ghostbusters. I'm pretty sure, didn't he direct Groundhog Day as well? I could be misremembering that. But yeah, I loved.
Expect me to Google.
Well, here I'll get it real quick here as I'm reading some of these. But yeah, I loved. Let's see. The boys have. Well, we can be clinical here. Boys have penis, girls have vagina. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you said it first.
And then the kid like cheers when he says it at the end. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. My kids have never said anything like that. Never, ever. You lack discipline. There is no bathroom. I just stuff like that is so great. I loved it so much. And I mean, often Arnold has at least one or two quotable lines in his films, but he had a ton in this, I felt, which was great. So let's see. I'm just looking up real quick. Thank you so much there, Arnold. What else do you have to tell us, Arnold? Anything else interesting to share with us?
You tell me.
And it looks like Ivan Reitman did not direct Groundhog's Day, so I guess I was a little off on that. But he did do the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
anyway,
he did Ghost.
I thought this was super quotable, and that was my classic maker for this film. Oh goodness gracious! Oh man, why do I forgot something else I enjoyed though? Can you believe it, guys? Can you believe that I would forget something else? Yeah.
Wait for it.
It was Strangers and Aliens. This is a conversational podcast and blog that explores the relationship between God and man through the lens of speculative and imaginative fiction that explores the same fiction through the lens of God's relationship with men. Join Ben Avery, Dr. Jace O'Neill, and Steve McDonald, a trio of Christians who are both fans and creators of story, in their conversation about the intersection of faith and imagination. Find them at strangersandaliens.com.
Yeah.
But what does that have to do with Kindergarten Cop?
Come on, this is obvious, Paul. Stranger.
Of course.
So it's like they're promoting half of this blog and podcast. They just need to say stranger and aliens.
I get it.
Okay, good.
I guess.
Yeah, you don't sound like you really want it though, Paul.
I'll allow it.
All right, good. Anyway, so will you also allow some trivial questions?
Definitely.
Okay, good. Did you guys realize that Dominic, who was the main sort of kid that like Chris was trying to get because it was his son and all that, he is played by the child twins, Joseph and Christian Cousins.
Cousins is the last name.
Yes.
Not that Cousins.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Paul. He has Ghostbuster sheets on his bed, if you notice that.
Real Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters.
The cartoon, yeah.
Okay, fine. Which, of course, is a hat tip of director Ivan Reitman, who directed the movie Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So my question to both of you is, what pattern, character, or theme do you recall having for your bed sheets growing up? I know for me, we had dinosaurs. That was, for some reason, I remember a long time where we, like me and my brother, sort of passed on these dinosaur sheets.
Oh man, I remember being a kid looking through like the Sears Wish Book and the J.C. Penney's catalog, just looking at all the different bed sheets, and they would have the sets like with the curtains and everything.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Oh, this would be awesome to have, but I only remember off the top of my head us having Star Wars.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Dave?
I've not the curtains and everything, just the sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it had to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's the only one
Nice.
coming to mind.
Nice.
That was,
And we
I
have
was into the Turtles, those original Turtles, not obviously. I wasn't going to the future or anything and watching.
Oh, the
well, because you didn't have access to a time machine yet, so that's understandable.
Not yet.
In chat, we have several people chiming in. Ashley had Power Ranger sheets. The Brother Holmes had G.I. Joe, a tent bed. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Talk about jelly over here. Lady Lomax had a Little Mermaid. Dale had Superman. Very cool, guys. Never had, and Geek Devotion never had character-based sheets, but did have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sleeping bag. So, see, in the same boat as you, Dave. Well, very cool, guys. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
great trivia, Francisco.
Thank you,
And I
Paul.
have the answer. You're welcome. I have the answer to our last question, which again was, given that Jurassic Park is a theme park based on dinosaurs, what would your ideal theme park be based on?
All right. Well, we had a few people enter, so let's go and spin to see who wins the prize. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dustin, since you won last time,
and the time before that,
we're going to spin one more time. I will read Dustin's answer, though. All right. Dallas, who's actually here in chat, Geek Devotions, congratulations on winning. Let's go back to this. I'm going to read your answer, Dallas, and I'll also read Dustin's since he did technically win, but here I got a can of Cajun Curl. So their answers were, if I could bring it up quickly. First off, Dustin's answer was hands down Star Wars. I know Disney opened up Galaxy's Edge, which is incredible, he says, but I'm talking a Disneyland-sized theme park totally dedicated to Star Wars. Death Star, spaceship walkthroughs, more rides, more food, lightsaber duels and interactions, blaster games, the works. Awesome, Dustin. That is a great answer, I will say. And then Dallas's answer was, I would love to see 90s Saturday morning cartoon theme park. Wow. Think of the diversity, man. That would be something else. I approve of that. So congratulations, Dallas, on winning the trivial question this time. And thank you, everyone who entered in the trivial question. Paul will share with us in a bit how you can be a part of it. But we usually give Twitch subscriptions to our Twitch channel for people who win. But in the month of June, we ran this contest where we'd give this free can of Cajun Curl, which is an amazing spice that comes... that was created in the Elm Bayou in Evangeline Parish, Louisiana. And it goes on everything. I put it on my eggs. I love it on my Little Caesars pizza. It's a great spice that goes on so much. So thank you again to the Cajun Curl team. And since Dallas is probably the last one to win this contest this time, we may run another thing sometime down the road. But for now, since everyone else who didn't win, you can get your Cajun Curl, your own can of Cajun Curl at CajunCurl.com.
Good.
But Paul, now we're going to go back to free Twitch subscriptions to the winners. But what's the question this time, and what's the question this time for people to enter?
Okay, so this episode's question is, name at least 2 other movies that we reviewed that also takes place in
Astoria,
Oregon.
Really? 2 others? I can think of
at
one.
Least. Yeah.
Really?
Most people probably can, but there's at least 2. You got to, you have to come up with at least 2.
At least 2. All right. Well,
I was going to make it 1, but it's just too obvious.
That's fine. We can go with that challenge. So send your answers to. They just have to name the movies, right? They don't have to do episodes, numbers, anything, just the movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Send your answers to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com by the time we record the next episode, which I will actually only give you a couple days by the time you're hearing this. So because we're recording the next episode the Friday after, if you're hearing this the day it releases, this coming Friday will be the next episode we record.
So people who watch this live in chat, they have an extra advantage.
Yes. So if you know it, go now before you forget. And send your answer to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com. Now that we have all had some trivial fun, though, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about Kindergarten Cop.
James Corsmo says, it was filmed in Astoria, Oregon, which was about 45 minutes where I lived. The Goonies was also filmed there. Hint, hint, wink, wink for our trivia question. There's one.
Emily Elmquist says, I can't say I've ever seen it. Actually, maybe time to give it a watch.
David Gardner says, boy, why isn't that word more simple? The simplicity of the lasers and the cringeworthy plan of where they need to go.
Steve Hamilton and Christopher Wilson Sullivan both quote, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. And
I said it again.
And then Christopher, a.k.a. Tiny, also added, wise words that have served me well my entire life.
Yes, it's good to know.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Wow.
There you go.
And it's family friendly because those are clinical terms, people.
Yeah. The Dapper Man says, I still haven't seen it, even though I have it on DVD.
Whoa, really? Okay. Alex Ortiz says, men with long ponytails continue to plague my 90s movies. Colin Chris from Kindergarten Cop. Bill Grown Up in from IT miniseries. The radio host, Jingle All the Way. Even every Steven Seagal movie. Chris from Selena is the only one who kind of pulls it off, and it's still pretty uncomfortable to look at.
Ordell White says, Arnold, kids, ferrets, Penelope Ann Miller, Linda Hunt, so proud of him for punching that one boy's father. Miko Hughes giving Arnold that tip, and it was a great time at the movies.
Awesome. The Fat Man _0808. It's not a tumor. Joy emoji.
It's not a tumor.
Joy emoji, heart emoji.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
Andrew Simpson agrees, saying, well, whatever Arnold has was clearly not a tumor.
Thank you. Marcus Lineker says, yes, one of my all-time favorites. There is no bathroom.
There is no bathroom.
And Ryan R. Jackson says, saw the movie when I was really young. During the scene where Arnie is being shot at in the bathroom, my younger sister walked in and asked, what's wrong with the Terminator?
Aw.
Wow, if he saw it when he was really young, and his younger sister came in during, and she knows the Terminator.
I think we need to have a conversation with your parents, Ryan. I think that's an intervention.
A little late for that.
We have a time machine, Dave. We can go back and put right the wrongs that we put. Wait, put
yes.
right the
wrongs that were wrought.
No. Put right
lack
the things
discipline.
that were once made wrong. How does Quantum Leap go? It's been too long. Anyway.
English is hard.
It is hard. But you know what? None of those comments really lead us into the dislike section, except for maybe those of you who haven't seen the movie. There are a couple of you. Maybe there's good reasons you haven't seen it. So let's go into what those might be as we get into our...
Worst 3.
No, don't start this.
We have to start, Arnold. Sorry. It's part of the show. And let's begin with Dave. What's one thing you didn't like about Kindergarten Cop?
I got a lot of problems with this movie. I'm starting with one that's...
No, this is not true.
One thing that's bothered me for a while. When they're at the big school fair, and the kids have just done their Abraham Lincoln thing, and it's very cute.
Yeah.
And they're at the principal comes on stage. She's going to introduce John Kimball to a crowd that's way too big to not have a microphone to speak to, by the way. Putting that aside. She says, let's welcome him into our community and hope that he considers staying on a permanent basis. There's something that bothers me there. I get she's trying to be welcoming, and she talks about what a great teacher he is, and he's a tremendous asset.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, is she inviting him to stay on as a teacher, even though she knows he's a police officer? So does she come to the community as a police officer or as a teacher? And here's what really bothers me about that. Even let's say she's talking about making a career change, going from police officer to become a full-time teacher because he's very good at it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with Mrs. Hagley, a kindergarten teacher of 25 years experience? Are you going to bump her off?
Put her out to pasture.
Shove her.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yes.
Lady. There's no consideration for her. That's what I care about Hagley. Dang it.
Is that who is back in the very end? Is that who's teaching them, do you think?
I'm guessing so.
Because I always thought it was another substitute for some reason.
It probably is.
We don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a great point. That's a great point, Dave. There are things like that for me in this movie, but I can't really speak to that one yet.
Way to be vague.
Here's what I will say though.
Okay.
Here's what I will say about something I didn't like was, and it's one of these like little weird oddities. So do you guys remember the scene where it's right after, it's like Kimball's first day, he's picking up and Dominic's still there saying, Miss Hagley is way better than you, and my coach is way better than you. It's like all these things. Okay, kid, but can you tell me, is there anyone who I'm better than or who's not better than me? And I don't know that many people. Okay, right. So then I think the next scene where we see them, like Arnold and O'Hara, or I should say Kimball and O'Hara are meeting, see Joyce and Dominic at the restaurant. And then I think that's where this happens. And then he says about Dominic, oh, Dominic, your little Dominic's being a great help. I'm like, what? A great help at what? Telling him how bad he is? What the? I feel like almost like a scene was cut there or something. Where
no, I think he's just trying to find more information about all the kids. And one way to do that is, let me compliment the mother on the kid and maybe she'll open up.
Okay, you know what? That's a very good point. It just bothered me though. It just really, because it's obvious that he's not a help. So I guess it didn't seem. I mean, actually, you know what, Paul? That I was gonna say it didn't seem like a lie that helped his cover. But now that you say that, I guess that does make a lot of sense. That would help his cover and gain the information. All right. That's why it's a minor dislike.
Yeah, I see why you don't like.
Yes.
It's a little kid being a total jerk. So
yes, yeah, not quite. Not really disobedience.
I don't think he's being a total jerk because I don't feel any malice.
Yeah, he's coming from a place of innocence with it.
Yeah,
but still, it comes off harsh, man. Jeez, don't you hurt people's feelings? Paul,
stop whining.
Okay, Paul, how about you whine to us about one of the things you didn't like?
I thought the music in this was just a little too
sappy.
Yes, I was about to say a little bit over the top, a little too uppity, kind of like. I know it's supposed to be like a kids' film mixed with high drama and high stakes, but I thought the music was just a little too. Okay, we're in a fun house now, kind of a thing. And it's like, let's tone it down a bit.
I think there were certain moments when things got intense, like when he's having that dream of Kimball coming in and the music is really intense. Those were great. I love those moments in the music. But everything else. I'm like,
I like that song.
Good. Okay. Well, you're
that's not true.
But it's funny though, because I recognize this score being used in like other things, like other trailers, I think, or maybe it's just it stuck with me long enough. But it's funny that this was Randy Elman's score, and he also scored Dragonheart, which isn't a huge movie, but that score also is used in lots of. Well, it used to be used in lots of other trailers.
Everything.
Yeah.
That music used too, like somebody's walking a dragon on a leash, and that da-da-da-da-da. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh, Dave. Okay, but Dave, what's something that's not so great? Give us another dislike about Kindergarten Cop.
Something else that's not so great. Oh, the things that I could pick from. Okay. Also at the fair. Not to make it sound like the fair is the big turning point for me, but I guess
apparently it is.
In hindsight, I guess it is. when they're telling Joyce that they're police officers, Kimball and O'Hara are telling Joyce they're police officers.
Yep.
They have zero tact whatsoever. I like Phoebe. I think Phoebe's a great cop. She's really intuitive. She does a great job throughout the thing. She's going, make sure Kimball's ready for the not a date, but got the flowers. Got everything.
She's really cute with that. Yeah.
Yeah, the restaurant thing. She just shifts from we're going to be husband and wife to my cover is now.
Oh yeah, she's really on point there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of what I love so much about that character. She's great.
Yeah.
She's terrible in this conversation. When they start saying, we got to tell you the truth, her name is not Ursula. She's not my sister. It's very disorienting the way they come up with that. And that's what you want to do when you gain an edge on somebody, not when you're trying to deliver bad news. It's like if Paul and I were trying to tell Francisco that this wasn't really a podcast that we were doing, we would want to have more tact than to...
No, that's not true.
What? So what are we doing if this isn't a podcast?
We're not having an intervention. That's not it at all.
What's that supposed to mean?
So then Phoebe says, we're not who you think we are. Just very bluntly and coldly and not comforting at all. And then what I really hate is Schwarzenegger goes into Terminator mode. Says, we know who you are, Rachel. And he steps toward her are you trying to intimidate this poor woman?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, because I think they're on a clock. He cares about her and wants to get them know about the money because they're out of time. So he wants to get it as quickly as possible so he can start protecting her. I think that's where that's coming from. But you're right. The way he does it is very imposing and not.
There's
the right
no time for tact and civiltry or civil whatever. You got to get on the mission and boom.
Yeah, but
sure, but it's that. I mean, you want to do it quickly, I guess. But if you scare her, she's just going to run away. And I mean, she does run away ultimately. And then Kimball stands there like an idiot. Yeah.
No, that's not true.
No, it is. I saw the movie, Arnold. So yeah, that scene, I didn't remember hating it so much at the time, like other times I've seen it, but this last time I watched it, that was just really frustrating. I totally get being frustrated by certain elements of this movie. I completely understand.
Yeah.
But Paul, what's something else that frustrated you? Maybe not to the upteenth, but just a minimal frustration.
Okay. I thought the actor that played Chris did a good job. As far as his acting, I thought the way he looked was sleazy but tough. Just what this role called for.
Yeah.
I just wish it was an A+ actor, someone that's more well known, something that could have driven. And I was trying to think who.
Well, you know what? You're getting right into I'll just go to my tragic maker. Hold on, Dave. Hold on, and you can, if you want to add in.
Wait for it.
Oh my gosh.
Wait for it.
I think the performance of Chris, Richard Tyler, I think was his name.
Richard
Tyson. He did a good job. I just think he was not the best choice for casting. I think Dominic could have been cast better. I think some of the other kids could have been cast better.
You didn't like Dominic, the kid, the blonde kid?
No. Maybe it was his performance that. I mean, I think overall he started off very. I don't know if maybe he was just sick. I don't know. Something about his voice really bothered me, and it seemed to get better.
Voice is sick, kid.
It seemed a little crackle in there.
Yeah. Mr. Campbell. I'm like, oh my god.
Sounds like a blues singer.
Take it back. Stop whining.
I'm not whining. I'm just saying, something about maybe just him in that regard bothered me. So I would have preferred a different kid being cast, which I'm sure is tough to do because you have to get twins so that you can work them because you can't. There's child labor laws for acting, so twins are just helpful because when one's done, you can just bring in the other. But I would prefer someone else. But yeah, Chris, it's like, would you just pay Val Kilmer what he's worth? Because really, that's who you're trying to...
That's what I thought. He looked like a chubby Val Kilmer.
Yes, exactly. He looked like Val Kilmer and Steven Seagal had a baby or something. It was ridiculous. So I would prefer. I think that would have been interesting because Val Kilmer doesn't usually, as I recall, doesn't usually play a villain. So I think that would have been a cool out of against type for him. But Baba, Dave, who do you think would have been a good in that role?
Val Kilmer's not bad. I hadn't thought of him. I mean, like I said, I was good with Richard Tyson, so I wouldn't necessarily want to replace him. But just because I like seeing him as a villain, I'm not sure he'd be right for this part. But I'd be interested to see John Lithgow.
Ooh,
just because if you've ever, I don't know how many movies he's played bad guys in. Not enough, whatever it is.
Isn't he a bad guy in Buckaroo Banzai, Paul?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. I'm thinking the movie Ricochet myself, but he's a nasty villain.
Oh, and the Santa Claus Christmas 2. And also, isn't he the bad guy in like Footloose, essentially? He's lots of bad guys. We need someone else. Dave, sorry. You're picking someone who's always the bad guy. He's always the bad guy.
Well, I was going to say the person that immediately goes in there for me, for some reason, besides Val Kilmer, is John Travolta, because he did the long hair. And
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
But it's kind of... it would be interesting to see what...
John
Snape would do.
Oh, Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman, yeah.
That would be cool too. I'd be happy with seeing any of these people. I think they would have brought over. Yeah. Well, just because it honestly to me felt like they're wanting Val Kilmer and Val didn't want to do it. Fine, don't play into that. Well, we had to find a Val Kilmer type then because that's what's perfect. No,
I don't think they had a casting call. Okay, who looks like Val Kilmer?
Casting call for Val Kilmer's.
That's what. Oh, thank you, Dale. Yeah, and he is also John Lithgow was also the bad guy in Cliffhanger. See, he always plays bad guys.
Good. Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah,
terrible.
Right. Totally. Man.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, you know what, guys? That turns out I looked at my notes, and that wasn't my Tragic Maker. So that was another dislike I had. But that's perfect because now we can get into our Tragic Makers. Dave, why don't you give us your Tragic Maker? Was it another? I'm curious if it was an actual big thing or if it was another thing that was kind of smallish and just really, for whatever reason, bothered you. So let us know.
Let's see. Which one was it here? Joyce makes less than Phoebe, which is pathetic. And there's no $3 million, yet she goes to a fancy restaurant with Dominic. Mrs. Hagley didn't leave any lesson plans. Mrs. Cripps somehow knows Cindy's drug dealer magically. O'Hara never mentioned that it was her birthday until the day's kind of weird. No, it wasn't any of these. Letting kids run around unsupervised.
Sounds like a big bullet point list here that you're just going through them all.
Bag of flour in the room for no apparent reason. That's not it.
Get to the Tragic Maker.
Oh, here it is. You didn't tell her you have a ferret? Really?
Wait, didn't tell
the mom?
You have a ferret in a bag. Not in a cage. You have a ferret you keep in a bag.
Oh, his partner, O'Hara. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sick as a dog in the back seat. Near death. Maybe not, but close enough. And suddenly this ferret just pops out of nowhere. And he just says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you." Nuts to you, you forgot.
I've got news for you.
In the back seat of the car. Not to mention it had to get on the plane somehow, presumably.
Right,
yeah, you'd think
that's what I thought.
Check that or something, and
and that it would have been quarantined for a while, and
yeah.
And not to mention it's illegal to own ferrets in California without a permit. But anyway,
I'm sorry.
You maybe had it's okay. You got the permit, I'm sure. But how do you not think to mention that you have a ferret you keep in a bag for some reason, and it's gotta, it's got to do stuff occasionally besides eat, and it's just going to do it in the bag. I mean, that doesn't seem very sanitary.
Well, why wouldn't it sleep in the bag? I'm confused.
Why not?
No.
I know what you mean.
Surprisingly, I've never owned a ferret. I'm not sure I've ever seen a ferret in real life.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one in real life either. I know they smell really bad, apparently, but...
Well, I do too, but...
Yeah.
Presume you'd keep a ferret in a cage, not just loose in a bag. And apparently it's been staying in the bag for several hours on end, I
guess. Yeah. All right.
Well, he trained it.
That's one of those things. I had to pause the movie and just I had to do this. I had to do this with myself.
Well, you know what? I can totally get on board with that as a tragic maker. Fantastic, Dave. Paul, what is your tragic maker?
As what's the right word? As kooky and as silly as setting up the ferret doesn't bite throughout the whole movie, and then magically it bites the bad guy at the end at the right time when you need it to. Besides that, what bothered me the most, and this is just, I thought the first time when Arnold and the blonde chick, that's their official title.
Arnold and the blonde chick, nice.
When they first kissed, it didn't seem to flow to me. It was kind of like, oh, well, it's written that we kiss now, so let's kiss. And it's like, and then they kissed, a couple more times throughout the movie after that, but I thought it was just kind of forced, and it took me out of it.
I could see that, yeah. I don't know if it was just too close up or something, but something about it seemed, like it was an acted kiss, which, I mean, fine, they're actors, but... I don't know what it was. I told, because from what I recall, I've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger kiss women in several of his movies,
especially The Maid. What?
Oh my gosh! In his movies, Paul, and like one that comes to mind is Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies. And I seem to recall their kisses looking like they were married and natural. Yeah. So I don't know what it was. I could see what you're talking about. There was something off. I totally see what you were seeing there.
Yeah.
Take it back.
No.
Wow. But that's actually not my tragic maker at all. It's actually something that I'm surprised neither of you, Paul especially, because he's all like movie logic man, plot hole stuff. I could not comprehend why they say they're going to be up in Astoria for like a few days, it seems, or a week or something like that. They get up there and then they start doing stuff, and it seems like, oh, this is taking a long time. And then they say, okay, we only have a few more days. Like I forget who calls and says, we have to go back. Oh no.
Was it because he got out of jail? Because
no, that wasn't it.
No?
That wasn't it. This was his partner, O'Hara, was saying to Kimball, look, you're only going to be here a few days, and then you don't have to worry about these kids, and then you can go back, and but it's like they seem to be there a month, and it's just annoying to me that they set up a clock. Then it seems like the clock goes past. Then they reference that there's a clock, and then they forget about the clock again. And it's like it seems really aggravating. Just like either establish they're going to be there a long time, or they don't know how long they're going to be, or something. Yeah. Don't call attention to something you're not following.
I thought it was only a few days. I guess it takes longer than that for kids to learn the Gettysburg Address.
Yeah, there's just to be trained like they are. I mean, they're I don't think they can be trained that fast to, especially kindergartners, a whole class to be like falling in line like they are, which is great. I think that's cool, but
you lack discipline.
Exactly.
They don't have discipline.
Exactly. So that's the thing that irks me. I get why it would take as long as it did, but that they kept saying, "Oh, it's only gonna be a little bit of time." Whatever. Anyway, so that was my tragedy.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. You're fired, Paul. But now that we have entered...
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball have to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Okay, but is there a final reign? But now that we have entered all our targeting information into the firing computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
I will say one more tragic maker that Dale added in chat was the fact that there's a Kindergarten Cop 2 bothers me. Yeah. Especially you gain Dolph Lundgren. I mean, they bring Arnold back for something, but that's...
They wanted to, but he couldn't for some...
Yeah. So then they had a casting call. All right, who looks like Arnold? Who could be...
Do we have Val Kilmer yet? Crap. All right, maybe next year.
Okay, guys, time for the moment of truth. Do we rate Kindergarten Cop a classic? We recommend anyone go see this movie, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth a rewatch for sure if you're a fan of it or you enjoyed it as a kid, watching it as a kid, young adult, whenever you saw it last. If you have fond memories, yeah, it's safe to do a rewatch. Or a tragic, it's not worth any of your time to watch this movie. Even if you think you have fond memories of it, just leave those memories intact. And if you've never seen it, go watch Predator or another movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie we've rated classic. So let's start with our guests as we like to. Dave/Bobo, what's your final rating for Kindergarten Cop?
My final rating is brought to you by Salvo Authority. Fine sponsor
There
that they
is
are.
no Salvo Authority.
There never was.
StarCraft, wasn't it? That's no cow level. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So, Kindergarten Cop, I go way back with this movie. I saw this at a drive-in. The only time I remember being at a drive-in. It was a double feature with Robin Hood.
Prince of Thieves or Men in Tights?
Must have been Prince of Thieves.
Oh, okay, that sounds right.
Yeah, it was the more straight-laced one, which we fell asleep during.
What?
We were 6. So, I have some good memories from this movie, including when I wasn't paying attention to where the location was, Astoria, as we've said. And I just thought Arnold was asking the kids, how many of you were born in Astoria? Dang, I thought it was
Astoria
or something. So I was like, how many of you kids were born in a manger? I was
That's
like, what?
Funny. Wow.
Okay, whatever. And I never bothered to look it up. And then
Yeah.
finally one day I connected the dots and I got Arnold. So, and as I said in my points, I like a lot of the acting. The kids were kids. There's a little bit of fan service in there. And then there's the writing, which I actually would be interested to see more of Murray Salem's work. This was apparently the only movie that actually got made. I guess he sold like 15 other scripts or something,
Oh, wow.
and none of them got made into movies.
Oh man, really?
And that's what I read on the interwebs. So it's definitely true.
Of course, everything on the internet's true.
No, this is not true.
My bad. So, yeah, there's a lot of things about this.
Oh, wait a second. No, he wrote Kindergarten Cop too. At least
that was his idea.
It says based on the film written by. So actually, no, yeah, it's not. He didn't write it.
Don't pin that movie on him. He did nothing to you.
No.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of things in the writing that frustrate me, even though there's some things in the writing that I like. But ultimately, after Francisco edits all of this down to about 10 seconds, probably, I'm going to give Kindergarten Cop a nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
I cannot put it in the classic category because it's not that. I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's that good of a movie. But
whoa. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the lines in the movie that are still really good. We talked about a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one. I quote that almost every day.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not a Tuma, and it's boys have a thing and girls don't, or whatever.
Yeah.
Memorable lines. So I'm going
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
He does nostalgic, apparently. Okay, awesome, Dave. Paul, what is your final rating?
I predicted nostalgic like everybody here, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. Despite its flaws, I rated a classic. I'd recommend anyone go see it.
Very good.
I'll drink to that.
Oh, guys.
Oh, no, don't do this.
I mean, seriously, could you just get Val Kilmer and could you just cast a different kid for Dominic? Please?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball.
But even with them
you belong to me.
in those roles, I gotta say, this was an enjoyable movie to watch. So I'm gonna rate it a classic. I really.
Very good.
Let me talk, Arnold.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a lot of fun watching this movie again. There was, the dislikes were dislikes, but they weren't plentiful, I would say. I could see, Baba, you were mentioning lots of things. I could see how those would add up and be like, yeah, this wasn't as enjoyable as I thought. But for me, for whatever reason, I either wasn't paying that close attention or what have you. I just, on the whole, very enjoyable movie, very quotable. I wouldn't mind my kids seeing this when they're older. It'll be quite the change because they're going to now grow up and like we're post-COVID happening. If you're in the future, I guess everything in the future is post-COVID.
It's not a tumor.
Yes, but if things change to everyone wearing masks and stuff, so it'll be a weird timepiece in that regard. But
it'll go back.
I sure hope so. Anyway, according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate Kindergarten Cop a disputed classic film. So definitely go see this
proud
movie.
Of you.
Yes, I'm proud of you. Definitely go see this movie if you've never seen it before, or if you have, definitely give it a rewatch. Unless you think, unless lots of details may bother you like they did Dave, and then you may not like the movie. But according to the Retro Rewind podcast, this is a classic movie.
Yeah.
But now let's get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
I'm Detective John Kimball. I'm a cop, you idiot.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Good.
I guess it feels good to be back. Even though Arnold Schwarzenegger is still with us. But we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1990 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflex capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keane, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, the Film Podcast, Peter Panda, Chris Owens, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, Mrs. Lomax, James Kennison, Daryl Hafner, Kevin Joshua Burnham, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dewson, and Kennethan, in addition to 6 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help keep us flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to see how.
And while we're thanking our supporters, we also want to give a big Arnold hug to our subscribers on Twitch. Which is another way to send us a couple bucks a month. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. You can find out how. There's a video that Francisco made at retrorewindpodcast.com/Twitch Prime to show you how.
Indeed. But if you don't have the extra cash every month for Twitch or Patreon, but still want to support us, you could buy our merch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. But even better than that is sharing your favorite episode of the podcast with a friend. I mean, whether you listen for the banter, the trivial tidbits, or, we occasionally have some insight on this show. We would love more
I'm a police officer.
Yeah, like that. We would love more people to enjoy Retro Rewind podcast for the same reason you do. So please be kind and share Retro Rewind.
Your sheriff is proud of you.
RetroRewindPodcast.com/204 is the place to find timestamps for this episode, links to contact us, and links for voting on the movies you want us to review. But that's not the only place you can reach us. Paul, where else can people find the show and also yourself?
Please feel free to talk to us or share anything you find funny that is 15 years or older on social media. We are Retro Rewind Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can join our Discord server by going to retrorewindpodcast.com/Discord. Also, as I have mentioned, we are on Twitch. Watch and chat with us live like these fine folks are doing right now. You can watch us do this podcast. It's also playing retro video games, creating pixel art. You can follow us at twitch.tv/retrorewindpod. And if you want to find me, Paul J. Powers, you can go to pauljpowers.com. You can stop by and say hi. Yeah. pauljpowers.com.
And I want to say, Paul just mentioned how you can watch these our podcasts live, and I mean, we're not able to talk with you guys that much, but I mean, here in chat, there's a conversation going on off some we said about, hey, where do people fall asleep in drive-ins, which is really cool. So there's definitely people usually to talk to or to banter with about the silly stuff that we're doing here on the podcast. So definitely come check us out over there. But thank you so much for Paul. What's your name again? I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, PaulJPowers.com, for being a great partner, friend, and co-host. I so appreciate getting to do this show with you.
You're welcome. And I'm very grateful as well. And I'm also grateful to our guests for taking time to discuss kindergarten.
Yes.
What?
I was just saying totally yes. I'm agreeing with you.
Sorry, I'm reading script and you disrupted me. I don't know what's going on. All right.
Is it scripted?
Paul is a fine thespian actor and you interrupt him. Oh.
It's all right. But seriously, David Bobke, thank you so much for taking time to discuss Kindergarten Cop with us. Please tell us how to find you online, and is there anything you'd like to promote?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, I do stuff for publichousemedia.com, so check out our wide variety of podcasts there, including Disarming Disability, #NoFilter Friday if you're into following up like the Me Too movement and stuff like that, or Choose to Rise with Kim Meyer, among many others. And hopefully I will have a podcast on there again.
Awesome.
One day. So I used to co-host the Greg and Dave show, and those were good times.
Aw. Well, so glad you got to come back, be on our podcast. It is awesome having you here, Dave. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. It's a absolute delight. This was great fun. Hope I, was decent enough. And
yeah, we're never having you back.
Yeah.
So don't.
Yeah, no, I figured you gave me a chance to come on.
Thank you.
And I sure did.
Oh my gosh, no, it was great having you on. It'd be great to have you back. But as much as I appreciate you, Dave, and you, Paul, it's not who I appreciate the most. I appreciate you. Yes, you listening right now, John.
Yeah.
Lindsay, Joyce, Dominic. I mean,
Zach.
Whether this is your first time listening to the show or you're a part of our Rad Rewinder community, thanks for spending time with us, and we pray that you are more joyful now than when you first hit play. I have been and continue to be Francisco Ruiz. Find me on Twitter at FXRetro, FXRetro _ and DM me there for pixel art commissions.
You know what? I'm enjoying this hanging out with you guys.
I have nothing else to do, and I have nowhere else to go. I'm gonna hang out with you until the end of time.
You probably want to get going. Finally, we are honored to be part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Indeed. You can catch us at CGC or our website, RetroRewindPodcast.com. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for it's some movie where about making a man out of someone. What was it? Gosh, for some reason I'm having trouble remembering. I guess I'll have to mull on that a bit before our next episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
Reading, writing, arithmetics. Too much homework makes me sick. When it's time to pass the test, kindergarten is the best. But get out!
Very nice, very nice.
My favorite part of the show is where Paul interrupted.
Don't give him ammunition, Bobo.
All right.